Can you beat Pokemon Emerald using Pokemon with a height of 6'7" only? In the last video, we tried to beat Pokemon LeafGreen with only Pokemon found in the Pokemon Mansion. Ditto was a real dark horse, only finding his way to shine in the later parts of the challenge, and surprisingly, I had fun using Muck with his minimized and acid armor combo. This time, we will attempt to beat Pokemon Emerald with only Pokemon with a listed height of 6 foot and 7 inches according to the Pokédex. And those Pokemon are Slaking, Flygon, Tropius, and Wailmer. Unlike Tropius and Wailmer, we need to go through Flygon's and Slaking's basic forms until they evolve and be in the 6'7" height range. The earliest Pokemon we could catch is Slakoth in Petalburg Woods, and from then on, our next team member can be caught after the 4th badge, which is Trapinch. The good rod can be found in Route 118 and can be used to catch Wailmer in Route 110, while Tropius is just in Route 119. However, the last two can only be caught once we get the HM for Surf after the 5th badge. With that in mind, of course, I made the challenge proceed a little bit faster with the help of the randomizer. Oh, and I'm not that familiar with Emerald as I didn't have the chance to play it religiously back when I was a kid. Anyway, here are the rules. Only Pokemon with a height of 6'7" in battle, with the exception of Slaking and Flygon's basic forms. HM Peeps can't battle, no items during battles except Pokeballs, but held items are allowed, and we battle in set battle mode. Alright, so we got that out of the way, it's time to start the game. I named a player Larry, who's a distant relative of Kanto's Larry. I actually thought of changing Mudkip into Wailmer because I just despised the fishing mechanics in Emerald, but your boy didn't do his research and ended up with Splash and Growl, so I had to restart. Instead, I changed Trico into Tropius just so our so-called rival, May, would pick Torchic. I think he's a much better starter since he could take down the first two gyms. After saving Birch from being incompetent, he gave me Tropius, which I named, you guessed it, Banana. I then battled his incompetent daughter as well, which made me realize that Tropius could still put up a fight against her Blaziken later on thanks to my flying type. Sucks to be May. Both of them gave me the Pokedex and some Pokeballs, which I'd say officially starts our journey. And here we have Banana the Tropius standing at 6'7". I then got my running shoes and went to visit my dad in Petalburg City, but got interrupted by a Ralts loving guy. I watched him catch a male Ralts, which made me think, how is he going to make Ralts level up if it knows only Growl? He's definitely going to struggle, pun intended. After that, we head onto the woods to search for the second member of the team. However, as we scoured the area, we had our first encounter with Team Aqua. We easily defeated the Grunt, saving the Devon employee, and on our way out, we finally caught the second member of the team, Slakoth, and named him King. Upon arriving in Rustboro, I went to the school to get the Quick Glow, which made me remember the fake Emerald cartridge I got as a kid. Instead of walking towards the students, the teacher would jump into the board and disappear, causing my game to crash. I don't know, that version of Emerald was nuts. Anyway, we also got the HM for Cut from the Cutter's house, and before taking on Roxanne, here's a quick look at our team. Banana at level 15 with a serious nature, which means neutral stats, and its moveset includes Gust, Raise Relief, Growth, and Leer. We have King at 15 with a quiet nature, increasing special attack and decreasing speed, which makes sense for Slaking later on. Its moveset includes Scratch, Yawn, Encore, and Slack Off. Alright, time for Roxanne. We all know which Pokemon and move I am going to use in this gym battle. Banana landed 1 Razor Leaf each for both of her Geodudes. It took 2 Razor Leaves for her Nosepass as it had an Oran Berry. Nonetheless, we beat Roxanne and got her first gym badge. As I went out of the gym, which I have never done in my life, the same Devon guy got his goods stolen by the same Aqua Grunt. I followed him to Rustruff Tunnel where he took the old guy's Pico as hostage. I quickly defeated him, saving Pico and retrieving the goods. Thanks to my heroic deeds, Mr. Stone personally thanked me and gave me the Pokenav. As I thought of heading out to chill for a bit, Mr. Stone forced me to bring a letter to Dewford and go to Slakeport to be involved with their company's business some more. Funny that this scenario happens to me every day in real life, being involved with a company I don't even work for. After sharing too much information, I was greeted by May on my way out of Rustboro. She now starts with a Lotad, but Gust was more than enough. For Torchic, nothing changed as Gust was the answer to everything, finally beating May. After the battle, it was as if nothing happened and May just simply continued with her dialogue and told us about Mr. Briny, who's going to be my ride to Dewford. We leveled up King until it evolved into Vigoroth, and this is how our team looks so far. Both of them at level 19, Banana holding Quick Claw now with Stomp, King holding Silk Scarf with basically the same moveset. Time for Brawly. Thankfully, he wasn't the Brawly from Dragon Ball as Banana easily swept through his team of Pokemon that could exist in the Dragon Ball universe. Meditite might have been a bit annoying as I couldn't take it down with one hit, but in the end, Brawly ran out of potions. Makuhita, even with the Citrus Berry, went down after Gust hits 3 times, giving us the second badge. After disregarding Brawly's entire team, I headed out to Granite Cave to get the HM for Flash and deliver the letter to a certain Minecraft character but with an N. Having finished our business in Dewford, we headed out to Slateport. I remember one of my friends back when I was a kid who kept saying it's called Slatiport, so as I grew up, that's what I kept on saying as well. But here we are, setting foot on Slateport and paid an entrance fee to the museum. I think I need to ask for a refund as I was just about to save them from Team Aqua. We then met Archie, the leader of Team Aqua, and explained to me his dream of expanding the ocean. I said, "Cool star bro," and gave the Devon goods to Captain Stern. I don't have a bike yet, so I had to pass under the bridge and encounter May once more. Despite dealing normal damage, Razor Leaf was the best option against her Wingull. I thought it was going to be an easy matchup against Combusken now with fighting type, but the burn status made things complicated. Banana was supposed to finish it off with Gust, but since her attack was lowered, we weren't able to. I didn't have any revives, so I thought I should switch so I can easily heal with just potions. Thus, here goes King's battle debut. He doesn't have any strong moves as of now, but one scratch against Combusken was enough. Next up was Lombre, who started off with Swift, but King was able to make her sleep and finish her off with 3 scratches. Kudos to May for not being a pushover in this part of the game. And finally, we arrived at Mauville City, the place where I wholeheartedly despise the electric gym. Yes, I'm looking at you, Magneton. Before taking on Watson, I took the HM for Rock Smash and completely forgot about it, thinking its low damage wouldn't do anything for me later on. But Wally wanted all the smoke as his uncle told me to knock some sense onto him. Like, for real, how did he manage to level up his routes? Which does make sense that he's still at level 16, probably struggling to gain some levels, pun intended. And here we are, maybe the gym battle I despise the most. I tried multiple times, but it wasn't just enough. At some point, I figured Rock Smash might be helpful, which did a little bit of something against Magneton. With no choice left, I had to overlevel my team and decided to face Watson for the 5th time. Banana at level 28 tagged the Shockwave to set up growth. He got paralyzed by a critical spark but managed to one-shot with Razor Leaf. Electrike was sent out but went down with a boosted Razor Leaf as well. And here goes my most hated Watson Pokemon, Magneton. Banana had more HP left, surviving a couple Sonic Booms and Shockwave until he fought through the paralysis and finished off Magneton with Razor Leaf. Not what I was planning to do, but we'll take it either way. Lastly, he sent out Manectric, which was faster and stronger and defeated our Banana. King avenged our falling fruit as we calculated every move, rotating between Yawn and Slack Off just so we won't be easily finished. While he was asleep, I kept on using Rock Smash, hoping to lower his defense, but miscalculated with one scratch, forcing Watson to use a Super Potion. However, nothing goes past the King as a critical scratch finished off Manectric, giving us the 3rd badge. We left Mauville and eavesdropped on 2 Magma Grunts before making our way through Fury Path. I feel like it's always easy to get off track in this game, but thanks to the internet, I still can't remember my next destination. Talk about having a memory of a goldfish. We arrived in Falibor Town and met the creator of Hoenn's PC, Lynette, which she then invited us to her house. Here in Meteor Falls, I witnessed some Aqua and Magma Grunts in the middle of some shady business. An information broker in the name of Professor Cosmo whispered to me that they'll be doing something at Mount Chimney with a meteorite they stole. We made a bit of a detour back to Rustboro to open up a path to verdant turf and obtaining the HM for strength from a love truck guy. We made our way back to Mount Chimney and used the cable car in heroic fashion to thwart Team Magma's plans. Expanding the landmass, Maxie must be tripping as he plans to awaken something beneath the earth. Our battle wasn't exactly a breeze, but King and Banana powered through his entire team using the power of friendship. Team Magma left and Archie thanked me for doing his job whilst taking the meteorite for ourselves. We finally arrived at Laveridge Town to take a dip with take on Flannery. We're a bit over leveled, no thanks to Watson, but here's Banana at level 30 who's still with Quick Claw and the same moveset. King at 31 still with Silk Scarf, but now with a much stronger strength and Rock Smash since the move deleter was miles away. She started off with a Numel, where we dealt just neutral damage. Numel Sunny Day became a double-edged sword as it did increase Banana's speed as well as boosting Camera's overheat. But it was no big deal as King simply overpowered the Camel with a simple strength. I've got a feeling this gym battle is going to be easy as Slugma goes down in one hit, leaving her with her final Pokemon, Torkoal. Okay, I take back what I said. Sunlight did fade, but Torkoal was much tougher as strength barely did any damage. She countered with overheat, which I thought was our chance, but I saw a white herb activate. This is the only time that slacking off really pays off. With her special attack refreshed, she landed another overheat, leaving us with red HP. King kept slacking off until he had no choice but to rely on body slam and a much weaker overheat. Once everything was in place, King set up Yawn and continued to slack off to regain health in case she wakes up, but thankfully, we were able to land a critical strength, defeating Torkoal and securing the 4th badge. Upon exiting the gym, May coincidentally went out of the herb shop, and here, she gave me the go goggles, which means we can now catch a 3rd member of the team. We entered Mirage Tower because why not, and caught Trapinch, which I've named Pac-Man because I don't see why. We made our way back to Petalburg City because if I remember correctly, our dad wanted to settle the score once I get 4 badges. Here's how our team looks so far. A level 31 Gentle Nature Pac-Man, higher SP defense and lower defense, holding black glasses with Bite, Sand Attack, Feint Attack, and Sand Tube. King at 32 with the same exact moveset, and Banana at 31, which I replaced Razor Leaf for Magical Leaf. I'd rather have a sure hit attack than betting it all with a high crit ratio but with a 5% chance of missing. It's time to show our dad who's the real boss of the house. Not really. I freaking hate Tear Dance. It was supposed to take only 2 magical leaves, but Spinda just had to confuse us with a cheap move. He kept using Facade in the process as well, which made the situation even worse. After suffering a couple of self hits, Banana slid through and finished the Dancing Bear with Magical Leaf. I think Quick Glow activated in the first turn against Vigoroth as we managed to deal significant damage with Magical Leaf and survived on Slash. But in the next turn, Vigoroth moved faster, throwing away our Banana. Here goes a battle of Vigoroths, which I must say we were stronger. Slaking, Norman's ace, was sent out and we decided who the true king was. We tried to put each other to sleep, but King had too much coffee. Truant made Slaking waste 1 turn, allowing our king to hit strength. A true king doesn't only fight by himself, because he also puts his trust in his allies as we sent out Pac-Man to try and trap him in a sand tomb, which I then realized I wasted that turn as the sand tomb disappeared as soon as I switched back to king. I landed another yawn, which I then made use by switching to Pac-Man as a sacrifice to put him to sleep in the 2nd turn. Done like a true king. We made sure to slack off just in case and hit another strength. It did pay off as Slaking nearly knocked us out with counter, then activating his citrus berry. We made sure we had enough HP to tank more of Slaking's shenanigans just before he fell asleep. All of that effort just for our dad to fully heal his Slaking. The battle had reset, and I relied on the defense lowering chances of Rock Smash. Arceus was probably watching me as that was the last time the fake king was awake. We landed the final strength, finally cementing our own Vigoroth as the one true king. But of course we still had one sneaky adversary, Linoon. 2 hits of strength wasn't enough as we made him just land to the healing zone. The king had enough, so he decided to finish it off with a critical 1-hit strength, securing the 5th badge. And finally, after the gym battle, Wally's dad gave us the HM for Surf, allowing us to get the good rod and catch the missing piece of our elite team, the Hoenn 6-7 squad. But of course, my haters gym leader had to make us do some errands for him, but I quickly handled it. And here goes Wailmer, which I named Bean because it looks like a beanbag. With the team finally complete, I bought a lot of coins to buy important TMs from Mobile's Game Corner. Of course, we put an Everstone to Bean, or maybe I'll put Mystic Water. We'll see. Moving on, we handled the situation in the Weather Institute and heard the grunts talking about some sort of plan in Mount Pyre. But since time was on our side, I decided to test May's skills once more. I wasn't quite sure, but I think I had a much harder time the last time I battled May. This time, Banana simply took care of Pelipper, Combusken, and Lombre. But anyway, time to upgrade Banana's flying attack with HM Fly from May. And we finally arrived in Forestry City. Of course, we couldn't challenge the gym instantly because something was blocking the path, so we had to ask help from Steven's Devon Scope. Yeah, sure, you can already use Fly. Here's our squad just right before Winona. Pac-Man level 34, now with the upgraded Crunch. We have a quiet-natured Bean at level 33, which means higher SP attack and lower speed, with Surf, Ice Beam, Rollout, and Water Pulse. I think his nature would work well for us. Banana at 33, which we replaced Gus with Fly, and the King at 34, still with the same moveset. Swablu vs King, where we hit first with Strength. She mirrored our move and healed with Hyper Potion, but of course, nothing stands in our way as King finished it off in the next turn. I hate that there's a move called Yawn because I kept on yawning as I'm making the script. Anyway, her Tropius set up Sunny Day and hit us with Solar Beam. She was a bit tough but fell asleep in the next turn. The King recovered health and tried to lower Tropius' defense with Rock Smash but failed. She didn't heal even though Tropius was at healing range, which was a bad move for her as the King finished her off. We had to switch to Banana to set up growth and hit her with a magical leaf in 2 turns. Altaria was faster with her aerial ace, but Banana stalled a bit using Fly. We couldn't escape the aerial aces, so Banana had to sacrifice himself so we could switch to Bean. Dragon Breath did almost half HP damage, but her Ice Beam was way stronger. I thought Altaria would be the biggest challenge here, but then I remembered I didn't have any counter for Steel types yet, as she sent out her last Pokemon, Skarmory. Bean tried to tank the aerial aces, but her Surf just wasn't enough. King had to avenge his fallen comrade, but Sand Attack was in our way. As soon as Skarmory fell asleep, I switched to Pac-Man to reset the stats and try to damage Skarmory for a bit. Once she woke up, she spammed Steel Wing where Pac-Man finally went down. Now that we know and ran out of potions, King gave his all as he used an ineffective strength against the Steel Bird. A true showcase of his kingliness as he overpowered Skarmory, defeating her and giving us the 6th badge. With our team quite exhausted, I decided to give Mom a visit and rested for the night. Moving on, we continued our journey to Lily Cove City. On our way, Trapinch evolved into Vibrava and learned a much more useful move, Dragon Breath. Just a few more steps away from Lily Cove, I heard some more Acro Grunts plotting something in Mount Pyre, which I just remembered that I needed to deal something in Mount Pyre as well. You could really get off track in this game. But anyway, Mount Pyre can wait as we visited the move deleter in Lily Cove to finally delete Rock Smash from our king. Of course, May just had to block off the department store's entrance. I guess I needed to beat her Pokemon up first. A battle between Tropius commenced with our Banana on top with just 2 fly attacks. Pelipper might be an issue with Supersonic, but with Growth and Banana fighting through the confusion with Magical Leaf, the Pelican was no more. We switched to Bean against our Chicken and landed a simple one-hit Surf. Ludicolo was next, so we sent out the King. Using our usual combo of Yawn and Strength, Ludicolo's fake crown was no match for the true King, forcing May to retire as a trainer and become a researcher like her dad. While fighting through the wild Pokemon, Vigoroth the King finally evolved into his final form, a 6-7 Slaking, and learned Swagger. Just one more final evolution and our 6-7 squad will finally be complete. After stocking up and training, we went on our way to Mount Pyre. Yeah, I actually made a very long detour as I went up in a different direction. But anyway, we were now off to face Team Aqua. However, I was too late as both Archie and Maxie already got the 2 orbs that could awaken 2 certain Pokemon. Because I didn't know what to do after this, I asked my retired rival May on some hints. Back in Jagged Pass, I entered Team Magma's hideout to try and stop their plans. Here we are against Maxie, who failed to control Groudon. I didn't know that Maxie could use Super Potions, which kind of prolonged the battle, leaving Bean with yellow HP. But in the end, Surf was enough as he sent out his next Pokemon, Crobat. He'll never be able to make his Crobat reach his full capabilities like I once did, but he was still able to beat Bean, forcing us to switch to King. King kept on fighting through the confusion and basically overpowered Crobat. Against Camerupt, we were able to use our newly learned counter as he hit us with Earthquake. King finished it off with Strength and eventually making Maxie realize his wrongdoings. And because I have no sense of direction, I had to ask May again, which still didn't help that much as there was nothing to be seen in the Team Aqua hideout yet. Anyway, I figured it out and went back to Slateport and interrupted Stern's interview. Archie then stole the submarine, and that's when I figured I should go back to their hideout in Lily Cove. If I need tickets to use Fly, I would have been a broke kid. After teleporting around their hideout, I finally reached the submarine, but Archie already left. Now, this doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm hot on Team Magma's and Aqua's tail, but I still have to make my way to Moss Deep and battle the gym just so I can get Dive? Like, where's the sense of urgency? And even Team Magma was about to sabotage the fuel here in the Space Center. Anyway, I made Banana learn Solar Beam and took the team for Sunny Day back in Scorched Lab so we could get ready for Tate and Liza. We now have a level 42 squad. Pac-Man with Dragon Breath, Crunch, Sand Tomb, and Sand Attack. Banana with Solar Beam, Fly, Sunny Day, and Body Slam. King with Strength, Yawn, Slack Off, and Counter. And Bean with Surf, Ice Beam, Rest, and Water Spout. We then solved the puzzle in their gym and finally faced them head on. I started off with the OG duo, King and Banana against their Xatu and Claydol. Xatu was kinda dangerous with Calm Mind, so I made King use Yawn. Thankfully, it was only King who tanked Earthquake as Banana set up Sunny Day. King got confused as Banana landed a Solar Beam, unfortunately not strong enough, but finished off Claydol in the next turn. King fought through the confusion and almost defeated Xatu with Strength, while Lunatone got a one-shot with Banana's Solar Beam. The same fate fell upon Solrock, leaving Xatu as their final Pokemon. With no backup left, King and Banana tag teamed and finished off the Psychic Bird with their physical attacks, finally giving us a 7th badge. We headed straight to the Space Center as Team Magma hijacked the place, so Steven and I had to work together to bring down Maxie and Team Magma in a double battle. Anyway, I finally got the agent for Dive, allowing us to progress with the story. I decided to go off to Sudic Police City first before the Underwater Trench. Team Aqua can wait, and here we are in the seafloor cavern. Oh, I remember struggling to solve this simple puzzle, but anyway, I managed to figure it out and went straight to Kyogre first. Having consumed by power and greed, Archie challenged me before taking control of the sea Pokemon. I have learned to never underestimate Puchianas, as I had to swap Pac-Man with Banana due to confusion. One Sunny Day and Solar Beam wasn't enough, so he managed to lower our speed. He even managed to confuse us, but Banana had the stronger willpower as he powered through with Solar Beam. Next up was Crobat vs Bean, and Confuse Ray did disable us until Bean couldn't even do anything. King then came to avenge Bean with Strength, followed by Banana's Fly attack. Lastly, he sent out Sharpedo, which really wasn't a problem as Banana charged up Solar Beam and defeated Archie. Even defeated, he tried to control Kyogre but didn't know it caused major storms and floods in all of Hoenn. Coming to their realizations, Maxie and Archie dragged me back up to the surface and we witnessed the clash of the two titans. But anyway, I searched areas I haven't explored yet and awoken the king of the skies, Rayquaza. With just a simple roar, both of the titans slowly hid back to the earth and calmed the raging weather. Having realized that their deeds were meaningless, I decided to push them away to challenge the final gym. But first, I had to evolve Pac-Man into the final member of the 6-7 squad, Flygon. With that, our level 46 6-7 squad is finally complete against gym leader Hoenn. Facing off a water type gym, Banana is sure to be the star in this, right? Well, Luvdisc and Celio were no problem as a Sunny Day Solar Beam combo beat the two of them in just one shot. However, as soon as Kingdra arrived, the combo failed as Banana went down with Ice Beam and Water Pulse. Pac-Man easily came to the rescue with Dragon Breath, but Whiscash was a bit of a problem, no thanks to Amnesia and a combo of Confusion and Water Pulse. To bypass the high SP defense, King finished him off with a single Strength. And I shouldn't forget about Crawdaunt as Taunt basically made him set up his own demise. One Strength and we finally got the last gym badge. And I still don't understand why the last TM was Water Pulse. Anyway, we finally made our way to Victory Road, the last maze before the ultimate test of Hoenn. But of course, who could forget about Wally? So I actually lost in the first try, which really surprised me. But in the second one, we made sure not to make a lot of blunders. Altaria was no match for Bean's Ice Beam, but Magneton was a different story. I switched to Pac-Man and bet it all with a switching combo to avoid any damage and a 70 accuracy Sand Tomb coupled with Confusion. Delcatty was, I'd say, a dark horse as Sing pretty much disabled Pac-Man to the point that he slept twice and was seeded by Leech Seed. But Delcatty was still eventually defeated, and here goes my main problem. I double teaming Gardevoir. Crunch did decent damage, but Psychic and Future Sight got the best of him, so we switched to King. This was when Double Team did its magic as King did land Yawn and then almost one-hit Strength, but Truant made it worse as the succeeding moves kept on missing until King fainted. With no full restores left, I hoped that Banana would be able to finish him off, but even my starter couldn't land a hit and eventually fainted as well. It was all up to my beanbag, which thankfully landed the last Surf. But then I was a bit worried as Wally's final Pokemon was a Roselia. Thankfully, Bean was faster and one Ice Beam ended Wally's challenge. After wandering around Victory Road, we finally entered Hoenn's Pokemon League. Before taking on the Elite Four, I had to make sure our team was ready. I went back to Professor Cosmo for the move Return on King and to Meteor Falls for Pac-Man's Dragon Claw. Here is the final look at our team before the Elite Four. I made them all reach level 55 to be under the champion's level cap of 58. Pac-Man led the squad with Dragon Claw, Crunch, Flamethrower, and Earthquake. Bean with Surf, Ice Beam, Amnesia, and Water Spout. For Banana, I made his entire moveset revolve around Sunny Day, so I made him learn Syntheses with Solar Beam and Fly. And King with Yawn, Slack Off with Thunderbolt and Return. Here goes the first challenge, Sydney and his Dark Team. Mightyena goes first against Pac-Man, who was sure to lower our attack. Thankfully, Dragon Claw and Flamethrower were special, so we were able to beat him with no problems. Shiftry was tough for a grass type, which took 3 Flamethrowers. Cacturn lowered our speed with Cotton Spore and seeded us, but 1 Flamethrower is more than enough against him. For Crawdaunt, I had to switch to Banana and finish him with a Sunny Day Solar Beam combo. I don't know if there's already a name for that combo, but I'd like to call it the Quick Beam as no charging was needed. Absol did take 2 Flamethrowers as the first one left him with just enough for Citrus Berry to activate. But either way, Absol was defeated and our first Elite Four challenge was over. I really wanted to teach Shadow Ball to King, but I thought Pac-Man was enough against Phoebe. And of course, I was wrong. Dusclops kept protecting itself, but when Crunch landed, it only did a little bit more than half HP damage, so I had to do it twice twice. The second Dusclops, however, was tougher and I didn't know it had Ice Beam. Pac-Man tried to finish off with Earthquake, but it wasn't enough as he went down with the second Ice Beam. I sent out Bean and used Water Spout, and I thought Surf would be enough to finish it. Shadow Ball did hit, but Weasel managed to land another Surf to beat Dusclops. Banette was faster as she quickly defeated Bean with a single Thunderbolt. I also didn't do enough research as King's Yawn was ineffective against Banette's Insomnia. However, a critical Thunderbolt made her taste her own medicine. The other Banette took 2 Thunderbolts to defeat, but she also depleted Thunderbolt's PP as she went down. With no other moves left, King had to make Sableye sleep to try and stop her from spamming Double Team. I then switched to Banana for another Quick Beam combo, but 3 Double Teams was enough to make us miss twice. She woke up and began to spam Double Team, coupled with Nightshade and Shadow Ball. Quick Beam still kept on missing, so I had to rely on Sunny Day and Synthesis to survive. Banana was left with 2 Quick Beam chances, but the second one missed, so our last resort was Fly. I almost lost hope as the first one missed, but I thought as long as Banana was alive and Fly and Synthesis still had PPs, there was no reason to give up. And finally, there it was, the final Fly attack connected after multiple attempts, defeating Sableye and the second Elite Four challenge. That was by far the most dragging match I had. Anyway, we moved on to the third challenge, Glacia. My source said she leads with the Glalie, so I also led with Pac-Man for Flamethrower. Next time, I needed to do extensive research, so I had to improvise with Earthquake. Thankfully, she didn't finish us off by just setting up Hail, so Pac-Man was able to win with Dragon Claw. Now for Glalie, all it took was 1 Flamethrower as I had prepared. For the other Celio, I switched to King for Thunderbolt but failed to one-hit as Celio countered with a Freezing Blizzard. While not being able to do anything else, Celio freely attacked King until he eventually fainted. So I made Banana go bananas. Blizzard missed, so I was able to land Quick Beam and finish her off quickly. Walrein was then sent out and I kept Quick Beam streak before falling on an Ice Beam. I switched back to Pac-Man for Earthquake, which thankfully ended her. Lastly, he sent out Glalie, which Pac-Man graciously burned with Flamethrower, defeating the third Elite Four. And the final member, Drake, the Dragon Master. Bean finished off Shelgon with Ice Beam and Surf easily. Altaria managed to hit us with Double Edge, but Ice Beam was just too much. For Kendra, I tried to stick with Bean and set up Amnesia while he spammed Dragon Dance. It was a bad idea as Ice Beam didn't do much and a simple Body Slam did a lot. I then switched to Pac-Man and all it took was 1 Dragon Claw. A Flygon battle was next, but Drake didn't use Dragon Breath, so Pac-Man tanked the Flamethrower and defeated him with Dragon Claw. Salamence was a different case as he survived 1 Dragon Claw and finished off Pac-Man with the same move. I thought it was time for Return's debut as King finished him off in 1 go. With that, the Elite Four has finally been defeated. We were off to the final challenge, Wallace, the Water Champion. Here goes a battle of the tanks as King set up Yawn and Wailord hit us with Blizzard. King kept on tanking the attacks with Slack Off until it was our time to land Thunderbolt. He thought Wailord would have more health upon waking up, rendering Water Spout kind of useless, so we finished him off with another Thunderbolt. Toxic was a bad partner for Truant as prolonging the fight would mean worsening the poison. With that, I sacrificed King so I can safely switch to Pac-Man and finish off the Octopus with Earthquake. Melodic was then sent out, who defeated Pac-Man with 2 Ice Beams. Her Citrus Berry kicked in as Banana took the stage with Sunny Day. Solar Beam wasn't enough as Banana barely survived the Ice Beam with 26 HP. However, our starter refused to back down as he finished off Melodic with another Solar Beam. We recovered with Synthesis against Ludicolo, who was another Double Team user. We bet it all with Fly, which managed to connect in the first try but missed in the second. Thankfully, Ludicolo only used Surf, so we were able to stay in the field and finish it off with a third Fly attempt. Next, he sent a Whiscash, which was at a 4 times disadvantage against Banana, so we easily finished him off with a single Solar Beam. Against Gyarados, we kept attacking with Quick Beam as he only used Surf and Dragon Dance, which didn't do him favors. And finally, as Banana kept on tanking, we ended our Pokemon challenge with a trusty Solar Beam. Champion Wallace was finally defeated, and we were able to beat Pokemon Emerald with 6-7 Pokemon only. It will always be fun to use Pokemon you don't normally use when you play games, so why not give this challenge a try? Comment down below your thoughts on this run, and maybe you could suggest challenges I can do in the future. That is all for now. LR Trigger, out.